Well, hello, I'm Ray Johnson. I live here in Folkestone, and I've been invited by Creative Folkestone to go live today as part of the Southeast Creatives programme, which of course is to support the creative and digital industries. And a link will be added at the end of the comments section where you can find out more. So I've been in business for 35 years, but I recently retired, in fact, at the end of January, so it's good timing considering what we're going through and what's happening. And of course, nobody expected the impact on business, even within all different sectors, all different sizes have been affected, as we know, and across the board, whether it be a small business, micro business, an individual, through to retail, or it could be maybe through to large corporates or manufacturing. Nobody in business is not facing issues surrounding the virus that we have set upon us. The main issues at the moment are cash flow, and that's a real concern for business. I've got various hats, which I'll talk about later. But I sit on the board of the Chamber of Commerce that covers Kent, so the Kent Invicta, and we're doing some great work, I think, along with what government's doing. I think they're doing a pretty good job considering, and they've invited businesses to apply for grants and funding, and I want to share a bit of information to you about that as well. And then if I get time, a few tips and ideas. So no doubt you've looked on the internet or to check with what might be available from government. I would recommend, if you haven't done so, do check with your local authority. The Southeast Creatives cover obviously quite a big area, so there's various authorities and you should hook into that. So for example, where I'm in Folkestone, the Folkestone and Hyde District Council have full pages of information that's guided by government to offer support. So you might have heard of a few aspects of what's available, and I always try to approach this by a what, when, where, why scenario. So some of the facilities are the small business rate relief scheme. So that's if you run a property or if you are a business or operating from a property, you should be able to get some funding from there. There's sector support, specialist sector support. There's grants by the business interruption loan, and you might have heard of the furlong scheme, which is perhaps the furlough scheme is not necessarily affecting you, but that's where employees can have a bit of a break, let's say, so I won't go into detail on that. But there are still issues to resolve. We are aware as a chamber that there's a lot of things that could be done, and whilst the government are reacting well, we're still continuing to bang the drum to make sure that those that have been missed out at this stage need support. So the business grants relief is a welcome, so that's where you wouldn't have to pay business rates for a period, and there's holidays on payment, holidays and initiatives that are coming through. But there are a lot of organisations that are also helping. So there's the British Chambers of Commerce, there's the Arts Council that you'll be familiar with, there's things like the local chambers again, there's the CBI, the Institute of Directors, and the Federation of Small Business. So you can hook in to get some guidance and support from those areas as well. So let me just come on to some of the aspects. First and foremost, I hope you're doing okay. This situation's pretty horrific for some people, and people are now, I wouldn't like to say crack, but it's beginning to really cause a bit of a burden to individuals and families and businesses. So the first and foremost, I hope you're all well, and I hope your colleagues are good as well. And that's the main thing. If we're healthy, that's good. It's a changing world. We know it's going to take a while for things to get back to normal, but I'm an optimist. I think things will be, I don't know how long it'll be, but I can assure you, things will get good eventually. So I guess you might be self-employed. There is a self-employed income scheme, which is providing up to 80% from your trading profits, up to £2,500 for a period of 3 months. So you can check into that. I won't go into detail here, but that's a good thing to check out. But you would have had to have been trading for up to 3 years, so that might not be relevant to you. If you've got a premises, there's the Small Business Rate Relief Scheme, absolutely brilliant. £10,000. If you haven't been paying rates on your property or exempt, that's brilliant. If things are a bit more dire, you might be able to, when I say dire, if you haven't got or can't get business support, maybe go for the universal credit. I'd recommend you apply, get onto it, because that way at least you know you've taken a step forward, and that might come back to pay dividends later. If there were extra support funding, at least you can demonstrate that you've done what you need to do. I won't give any direct numbers out now, but one I will share with you, because it's connected with the South East Local Enterprise Partnership, an initiative with the government and with the local authorities that have all hooked in to join with a chamber initiative with the Kent Invicta Chamber of Commerce. That number is 03333, so it's 4 3s, 602 300, and that's otherwise on the Kent and Medway funding support hub.co.uk. You can check these out, and they'll give you some good guidance, but do check with your local regional authority as well, because there's some good stuff available on there. The government, just to let you know, have issued a new website, launched a new one, which is a business coronavirus support finder, and that was updated the other day, so it's worth checking that out as well. So make sure you, once again, you check out and apply. I'm not suggesting you would dither, but don't. Make sure that you do apply for something, make sure you validate your entry. Make sure that you check with your landlord, you check with your other support organisations. There's a couple of good things that have just been announced with the Arts Council, which is quite good. They're delivering some immediate support fund package, providing you're within the creative industries as well. So, check them out. Sorry, I can't be a direct help to you, but if you have an accountant or financial advisor, get some information and check them out as well. Just a couple of tips I thought would share with you whilst things might be a bit quiet. I know it's pretty much a no-brainer and you might be onto these things, but just get creative. Try to think of things that you may not have considered, even simple things. Maybe one thing you could do is to check out your contacts, because when things pick up, this will be a good time to engage, and let's face it, they might appreciate a chat as well, because again, you're not on your own. Look at some old cards, maybe some old business cards, hook up with those people, old emails, go through the whole lot, have a sort out. Check out some old stuff that you might have laying around. So it could be some magazines, or it could be some sort of trade magazines or press and things that you think you might want to contact. Some website, maybe time to get creative with your website, maybe tidy it up a bit. And maybe liaise with other IT companies. At the moment, that sector, as you can imagine, is quite busy. Companies that are doing stuff online, maybe you could get creative, maybe do some bits with those. So why not freelance and make yourself available to those companies and organisations as well? So just a thought, just something to do in the meantime. If you've then got more time available, over my years of experience, I always use my analogy with other hats. It might be a good idea to have a look at that. So maybe you could hook up with some support, or to provide some support services in view of what's going on. I'm sure you might have already considered that. That's pretty straightforward. But maybe you should look at eventually supporting other events. So with the creative sector, we're involved. So for example, Creative Folkestone, the triennial has been delayed, unfortunately, for a year. I think it's the right thing. But all of those things, hook up with the people that support you to see if you can help them, and just, if you like, hold your hand out and just say that you're prepared to reach out and support them. But there could be other organisations, so things like Rotary. I'm a member of Rotary, so you could maybe look at those to see if they want support. Maybe look at your professional sort of entities and maybe hook up with some of those organisations and see if there's any way that you can support them. Other things are events and things like that, obviously when we can get to events, but it'd be good to maybe consider doing some of those things as well. So it's just general supporting others, which is good. So that's kind of an overview for you. I would just say that to round up really, make sure you look at the support funding available. engage with the local authority, check out the support number of the funding, maybe look at helping other people, have a tidy up, sort your room out, sort your life out, get it all up to date. But one thing is for sure, within what we're going through and this difficult situation, is to look after yourself. Maybe make sure you do some exercise, give yourselves a bit of time to chill out. It's been a change for me. I've learned a bit of IT. I've learned a bit more today with the Creative Folkestone, which is brilliant. Ticked a box there. But just try and make sure you allow yourself a bit of time, fresh air and stuff like that. And maybe then think of some of your future projects, bring them together, let them evolve slowly, and again, hook up with other organisations and contacts you've got, because there might be some freelance work you can do for them. So I'm going to sign off and say goodbye, but I'd be love to catch up with you one day, and I'm sure we'll have one of these live meetings at another time. Wish you all the very best and good luck.